The national potato supply starts in Florida. We are the first fresh potato in the nation, and then our harvest starts the 1st of February. If you have that client who's looking for the best quality potato he can possibly get through what we call early spring or late winter, they need to come to Florida.
Alan Jones knows potatoes. His farming operation in Manatee County grows a wide variety, ranging from table potatoes to specialties like reds, whites, purples, and fingerlings. But when it comes to his cash crop, he brings the chips to the table.
Chip potatoes is our primary source of income, I'd have to say. We contract with a number of large chip companies and have been for many, many years, ever since we started down here. I tell people we grow all kinds of potatoes except for Idaho potatoes because they're not fresh from Florida.
Alan learned at an early age what it meant to be a potato farmer. Following in his father's footsteps, he knew that one day he would start his own farming operation. Raised on the family farm in Hastings, Florida, he grew up in the heart of Florida's potato country. In 1985, Alan enrolled in the University of Florida to study agriculture, and in 1986, Alan and his father David began farming operations in Parrish, Florida. While this part of Florida is best known for its successful tomato and watermelon production, the Joneses planted the crop they were most familiar with. For the next 15 years, Jones Potato Farm grew as a father-son potato farming operation. In 2001, Alan bought out his father's share in the company.
Well, that was really always the plan once I first came down here, is to develop my own business. And you know, Dad gave me enough rope to either hang myself or to swing to the other side. And you know, fortunately, I hit the ground running when I did swing to the other side.
Today, Jones Potato Farm consists of 4,000 acres of potato, green bean, and citrus production, scattered across northern Manatee and Hendry counties. And while Alan has made a success of it, growing potatoes in southwest Florida's sandy soil has been challenging, especially when it comes to irrigation. While the area's tomato and watermelon production could rely on traditional seepage or drip irrigation, this method proved insufficient on Alan's potatoes.
I really like it when these leaves have nice shade to them.
He realized that he had to create a unique soil and water management plan specific to his property and his crop. He needed a way to maintain soil moisture and still have the flexibility to apply supplemental water to the crops as needed. To do this, Alan turned to technology over half a century old.
All right, what do you think, about 4/10?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good rate. We're going to be harvesting here in about a week to 10 days, so.
Since the 1950s, center pivot irrigation has proved successful on row crops, effectively maneuvering through the plants without damaging them. By incorporating this technology with seepage irrigation, Alan's hybrid irrigation system would allow the farm to use different application rates across the top of his crops while keeping the roots moist.
At Jones Potato Farm, the water conservation process is really a moving target. It changes day to day, hour to hour. So we've got to do more with less. And using these center pivots, we've been able to become more efficient with our water and really be able to farm the crop on the dry side of the crop instead of having to over-irrigate and create runoff.
You know, the best part about these float wells is that they're so inexpensive, you know?
Along with the hybrid irrigation system, the farm uses float wells to monitor the surficial water table on different portions of his property. Blocks of crops receive only the amount of water needed for their specific soil type. This conserves water and also helps minimize runoff from the property. This precision watering has not only produced high yields, it has reduced the farm's overall water consumption by over 50%, demonstrating that center pivot is a viable irrigation method for the region.
So, in my opinion, that's going to be the coup de grace for precision ag.
Through trials, demonstrations, and innovations, Alan has worked tirelessly to reduce fertilizer usage on his property. One of his most notable efforts is the use of precision agriculture software. Operating on an advanced grid system of his farm, Alan is able to build his fertilizer programs based on the detailed mapping and GPS coordinates, rather than on a broadcast basis. Alan implemented the 4R Nutrient Stewardship Program. Apply the right source, at the right rate, at the right time, at the right place. By maximizing production, reducing fertilizer usage, and keeping cost in check, Alan began to see immediate results. And in 2013, Jones Potato Farm was the 4R Advocate Award winner, becoming the first farm in Florida to win this prestigious national award.
When you can see as much as a 30% reduction in fertilizer use, for every ton saved, that's additional profit in the farmer's pocket. But also on the other hand, we're seeing great water quality results, not only on the farm, but the water leaving the farm. So it's got an environmental impact on the whole situation. Who better knows the land and how it needs to be done than a farmer that is in the field every day?
So David, this is one of our electric wells that we've put into place.
Along with caring for the soil and water on the property, Jones Potato Farm is also reducing its carbon footprint by successfully converting its diesel wells to electric.
We've got a lot better uptake on our fertilizers by utilizing this center pivot system.
In 2014, Alan expanded the farm by purchasing an old citrus grove just north of the Caloosahatchee River in LaBelle.
Wow, your resets look terrific.
He contacted the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Office of Water Policy about implementing best management practices on his grove. Over the next few years, Alan looked for ways to maximize production of the land and avoid disruption of the river. In the summer of 2016, the farm began construction on a project that would do just that.
The project that we're working on at Calosa Grove is a detention, retention, tailwater recovery type of system, which is essentially putting in a pond that will capture excess stormwater that actually falls on the grove and also have a place for excess irrigation water to collect so that it can be reused.
This tailwater recovery reservoir will help Alan retain water and nutrients on his grove and at the same time reduce groundwater withdrawals by up to 40%.
The city's moving closer to my farm every day, and so it's so important that I'm cognizant of that and can implement BMPs that are not intrusive to my new neighbors. We've got a lot of people moving to our state. We need to be doing our fair share to make sure that we're going to carry the torch.
Hey, Alan, how are you?
All right, good to see you,
Good to see you again. How you been? Being in Manatee County, Alan has been very, very involved in working on projects that benefit landowners, especially the farming community. So I've gotten to know him as he's been passionate about finding ways to protect farmers, to being able to protect our water supply and good growth. We've got to have our young kids step up, so they've got to learn and understand the importance of agriculture to our community and be excited about it, and he brings that excitement. And that's a kind of role model that we need for our kids to see that this is what it's going to take to continue agriculture in the state of Florida.
One of the keys to protecting Florida agriculture is educating local communities, especially children, about the importance of farming. Alan and his wife Leslie are huge proponents of teaching students about where their food comes from, and the couple has been recognized for their contributions to the Farm to School program, which brings fresh local produce to school children in Sarasota and Manatee counties.
We find it so important because this is the core of it all, and we have such great excitement when they pull out the school menus and there's Jones Potato Farm potatoes on the menu. So we're really proud of that. We're proud to be able to contribute to our community in that way.
Both Leslie and Alan are very proactive as far as getting out to the community. They are very active in farm to school programs. They go out into the schools. They have youth visit the farms. We do a program called Green and Growing. Last year we took them out to Alan's farm and they got to dig potatoes. He just let them go crazy in the field, and they just filled up their bags with potatoes, and it was really kind of amazing to see their faces when they pulled the potatoes up and saw where they actually came from, not just sitting on the grocery store shelf.
Alan takes pride in the success of his farming operations. Whether it's sharing agriculture's story or growing a successful crop, he understands that it all begins with the people he works with.
I just want to say thanks so much for all the hard work that everybody's done. And, you know, we had a good season this year. Every year we have a harvest party at the farm and try to cook a nice meal for everybody. And I've gotten choked up at a couple of those before. It's just so wonderful to see the effort that people put forth to facilitate the plans that I've set forward for everybody. You know, that's the best thank you I could ever get, I think.